Welcome to the Pacific Northwest. I am on another road trip, and today we're visiting the Far West Expo. Now, this is a trade show, and once again, I'm sorry, you're not invited to come unless you're actually in the industry. And if you were, well, welcome. If you want to get into it, well, you probably could come. It does cost a few bucks to get into a place like this, but that notwithstanding, you're going to be exposed to all kinds of different products and services and things that are for the nursery industry, for landscapers, and also for stuff that'll be brought into the nursery and garden center. So stand by and let's see what we're going to see today, and have a little patience because Boomer, my camera operator, didn't come with us. He missed his flight. So with that, let's go have some fun. All right, if you need a way to cut this,
too pretty to
I've
use,
got it right over here at Bridgetown Garden Tools. He's got all kinds of neat stuff to slice and dice. And oh my goodness, what in the world is this, Brian?
This is just a Cocobolo Brazilian hardwood. This is like a prototype, so I'm showing buyers at the Far West show. And then this is actually the same knife, just more two-tone. But this is probably one of my most popular, I would say, Hori Hori knives. It's Brazilian hardwood, has a twine cutter, just a really hefty Hori Hori knife. Feels great in the hand. Yeah, comes with this beautiful sheath, leather sheath.
Okay, now last season I introduced the Hori Hori knife to my audience, to which I had never seen them before in my life. And when I came here and found out that there's a bajillion different styles that you carry over here, I got very excited about that. I couldn't tell you which one exactly that I have, other than that says it's a Hori Hori, and these are pretty nasty and sharp things. You got to count your fingers before and after every time you use them.
That's right.
They're so good. What would you use them for?
You know, well, for transplanting, digging, cutting, prying, it is a true garden multi-purpose tool. You can, I mean, personally, I cut a lot of yard debris with it, just kind of hacking at stuff. But my Hori Horis, and all Hori Horis are different, but mine also all have serrations. So for transplanting and getting into the roots and cutting, it's really, really nice. There's, of course, different serration patterns. Here we've got kind of more of a tighter serration groove, a little easier to get started. Then you can see different blade types. We got stainless steel, more of a high carbon. But yeah, it's the true multi-purpose tool of the garden. It really is.
And you were explaining to me yesterday, I believe it was, that Hori Hori actually means something.
Yeah, I think a loose translation in Japanese is dig. As far as that I can tell.
Dig.
These have been, dig. These have been around hundreds and hundreds of years, and the Japanese culture has latched onto it, and now it's mainstream.
And speaking of digging, you have other digging tools over here.
I do, yeah.
What do we got going on
Probably
here?
my favorite is the handy hoe.
Oh my goodness, this is all whacked out.
Yeah, that is a Korean tool. It's called a homi. It's been around for thousands of years. I used to use them in rice fields. But you can instantly tell just by using it, it's basically 5 tools in one. You can plow with it, scrape with it, you can weed with it, get behind stuff, use the ergonomics, and then you can pry. So really nice with crabgrasses or dandelions. More often than not, I turn it on its side and I scrape with it. So I'm scraping pesky surface weeds.
Yeah, I didn't notice, but is this part sharp right here too?
You know, they've kind of tempered it down. It's a little bit sharp. It's not meant to be sharp because what I'm really pulling weeds with it, not cutting. I have other tools for cutting.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay, now this tool right here was kind of wacky looking too.
Yeah, kind of cool. I call it the Garden Ninja. It is stainless steel, but it's just a surface loop weeder. So the idea is you've got surface weeds in the spring, you know, those little kind of 2-inch things. Just get right under the surface and makes efficient, quick time of those kind of springtime surface weeds.
Now, is this one also sharp on both sides? Or just the one side?
It's actually just squared off. It's stainless steel,
so you're not gonna
but
cut
it is
yourself in
pretty sharp. But That's a good point. I use, this is great for kids.
Okay.
It's not really sharp. What you're doing is pulling.
Okay, now while everybody's over there stealing stuff from your booth, let's come over here.
Oh, I got my eye on him. I'm watching. He knows. He's laughing. You're on camera.
So you have some other things that are here too. You get another. This is not a Hori Hori, but it looks like it's sharp on this side.
Yeah, this is just kind of one of my newer projects. It's just a really nice garden trowel, garden shovel. I did have them sharpen it, easy to get into some of that harder compacted soil and clay. Just good ergonomics, feels good in the hand. Comes with this little cover. Hori Hori, or the handy hoe we talked about, and these are kind of traditional Asian inspired tools. This is really called a kana hoe, but it's extremely sharp. And everything you're gonna touch with that, you're gonna cut.
Okay, and you can see the size difference between this one and this one.
Yeah, really nice for container gardening, cutting lavender, cutting microgreens. This one is a little different. This is stainless steel, also pretty sharp, really for scraping and chopping.
Very good. Well, I want to thank you for allowing me to come over here and see what you got going on in your booth and all the sharp tools that you have. I'm glad you have nothing here for cutting whiskers. But,
oh, we do. Come on over here.
Yeah, I'm staying away from this one right here. I'd rather get those tomatoes cut that I was talking about earlier. Thanks a lot, Brian.
Okay, you're welcome.
If I'm not mistaken, what you're showing me over there happens to be a hydrangea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a lot of them over here. Look at this.
I
Oh, you got
do.
this pokey one too.
And then you missed our entrance. We have both, one on each side.
Is that right? Man, oh man. Talk about being adorned over here with stuff.
Of course.
Look at that. Okay, so tell me, Kimberly, where are we?
We are in the Far West in Portland, biggest exhibition for all things green.
Ah, look at you.
So yeah, well, exhibitionists gather by and they geek out about a lot of things, all things green again. So yeah, our booth really, we set up this booth to, hopefully get the attention of other people to come by, stop and shop with us. We have a lot of varieties, year-round availability, as our poster banner says. So we just came here to put a little bit of the display, pop of color, and green things.
So can you explain some of these plants to us and why and where we could use them?
Well, a lot of these plants often, they are very, what's the word? They can be used for a lot of things, very well-rounded. So a lot of our Japanese maples, when we get people to wanting to buy them, it's specifically for a specific job. They want it to be the centerpiece. I am working with a lovely person in Texas where they're building like a Japanese garden. So they are getting a bunch of our Japanese maples and we're transporting them over there, and hopefully it's going to be a very nice, lovely Japanese garden. And also we have a lot of shade trees, so a lot of shade trees, a lot of shrubbery, a lot of landscapers also come to us for getting all of pop of colors, different foliages. So
do you guys do the design work as well, or you just work with designers?
So we work with the designers.
Okay.
So we work with them one-on-one, and we kind of tell them what we have. If they have specific kind of visuals, we try to help them out, be like, okay, we have this might look great. We have these nice pines, for example. These are always fan favorites. They're poodles, fan favorites.
Now, who gets to prune all these?
Our lovely helpers. They they do a lot of pruning on all these. Like this Conica right here,
Mm-hmm.
shaped it very well.
Yeah, that's
We
nice.
have a lot of topiary. So here's an example of one, and then on the far end we also have another example of a thuja that's also a spiral. So nice contrast of shape.
I used to have a myrtle, Myrtus communis, and I used to try to keep it like this, and I did it for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Man, it's a lot of work.
It is,
Yeah.
but I mean, ultimately the shape that you kind of trim it, it just stays lovely.
Well, I like the idea that you're incorporating a little bit of water in here to show some
Yes.
different things. I have never seen an agapanthus with this color before.
Really?
Yeah, that is really sharp.
Well, I'm glad you like. We have a bunch of little pop of color here in the front as well.
Very nice. And I noticed, we started off over here with this
Hydrangeas.
type of hydrangea, and this is a new style over the last 5-6 years.
Yeah,
to where
the limelight.
Yeah, to where they're making them conical in shape
Yes,
as far as
yes.
as opposed to the big old powder puff kind of thing. Can you still control the color of the flower with the acidity and alkalinity of these?
So yes, for example, on the first one you panned out to, when I first started out, the first fact I learned was that hydrangeas, their color changes based on the pH level of the soil. So you could alter the color a little bit depending on the soil. So it's just, I think that's a pretty cool thing on this one as well. You kind of get to see, like in the middle one, we get like a little bit of blush, and this one's limelight prime.
And this is all in the same plant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what she's talking about over here is the soil pH. pH is measured on a scale from 0 to 14, with 7 being neutral. Anything that is above 7 is a higher pH, and whatever's below 7 is a lower pH, which means it is more acidic and the other side is alkaline, and you adjust it based on different things. From compost to sulfur, you could lower it, and then if you don't do any kind of composting and you just do lime, for instance, you'll raise the soil pH. So that's what you're going to be getting over here. Very good. All right, so we have to find out, what is your most favorite plant? Because there's a lot of things going on over here.
Oh, it's tough. It's
It
tough.
is.
I have a lot of favorites. A lot. I can't just specifically pick one, but I mean, if I were, it's gonna be this one right here. Brunnera.
Oh, that's
Silver.
a beautiful one.
I don't know. I love silver. So that plant just amazing. I love it.
And look at the texture of the plants and how pretty it is, and it's all kinds of fun stuff. Well, Kimberly, thank you for letting me come over here and invade your privacy. I greatly appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you coming and stopping by.
Indeed. Well, you take care now. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, as you can see, I'm walking around the hallowed halls over here at the trade show, and I saw this booth yesterday, and this lady was talking about all kinds of stuff, and what really caught my ear is that you're growing stuff with no soil.
That's right.
How in the world do you do that?
Well, we use other great ingredients that retain the moisture but don't allow for overwatering and all the problems that go along with overwatering.
Okay, so you have several kind of mixes over here, and can we talk about them? We have an orchid mix.
Yes. So our orchid mix is full of orchid bark. There's pumice, there's some mycorrhizae and bacteria, there's clay bits, all the great things that are going to hold on to that moisture.
So this is gigantomous pumice right here.
Yes.
It's huge.
Indeed.
What grade do they call that, do you know?
I don't know.
Is it a 1 or a 10? I can't remember. I've been using a lot of pumice lately for some of the mixes that I've been doing lately. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's
okay,
good
now we have
stuff.
something else. We have
This is our most popular, this is our aeroid or tropical mix. Lots of cocoa core.
Ooh, it feels differently too.
Yes, cocoa chips. There's the expanded clay balls. There's perlite.
You don't have any animal manure in here, do you?
Any what?
Animal manure?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Because you know where animal manure comes from, right?
Yes, comes from animals.
Yeah, it does. And that's not a very pleasant spot.
We do have worm castings in there, but
those are just worms.
That's harmless. So,
yeah, they are. They
yeah.
are. So this is a very popular mix for
It's
doing
a
things.
very popular mix. Really supports your plants without having to put a lot of thought into it.
Okay. And then over here, in our neck of the woods,
Yes.
we are doing a lot of cactus and succulents. And
Yes.
this one right here, oh, this is totally different.
Yes.
This feels like
I love this mix.
rocks
Yeah.
or something.
It's lots of different kinds of clay, like hyuka, academia. There's pumice, there's charcoal, there's little tiny bits of the bark. So this is really going to be an aesthetic mix that's going to make your potted plants look really pretty, but also really support them and make them happy, and again, not have the chances of overwatering and all the problems that go along with that.
So this one feels very foresty.
Yes. Yeah.
Foresty. This one feels very deserty,
Yes.
like this. And this one right here,
This one is a mix,
there's so many different textures
it's
in here.
very similar to the aroid mix, but just doesn't have that finer bits that
Yeah.
that the orchids don't like.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much for allowing me to come in
Yeah,
here
my pleasure.
to see what you got going on. I hope you enjoyed yourself over here at the Far West show. There's a lot more to see when you're here in person, and I'm glad that I was able to bring to you a couple of new things that we've actually never seen on the program before. So remember, if you have any questions about anything, don't forget to visit thingsgreen.com and press that button there for sending me an email. And you could also send me pictures of your landscaping problems, and we'll try to help you out as well. And remember, whenever out in the yard and garden, green side up.